two sorts of products that you might use at the beginning of the sales process that we really want to get our head around. They're similar but different, and it's often confusing. So the first product that I want to talk about is, I don't know whether you'd even call it a product because it is free. It's a freebie. It's a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is something that you give away to a prospective client in order to get permission to send them emails or to talk to them in some way. Preferably emails, but you might be using a LinkedIn group or a Facebook group or something like that. So what you do, and you'll have subscribed to lead magnets yourself, I'm sure, is the classic is you have a PDF, it's a list of something or other, a helpful little booklet, shows you how to do something, a list of the 10 best recipes for using butter, etc., etc. You can download it, and in the process of downloading it, you give your email address to the people, and you get you've given them permission to talk to you by email, and you get emails afterwards which may or may not be useful to you. So that's the classic with the lead magnet. There are many different sorts of lead magnets, and some work better than others. So the lead magnets that I've had the most success with have been what I call a content upgrade lead magnet. And this is where you write a blog and you offer some information, downloadable information, which is directly related to that blog. You can see this in actions here over at adventuresinproducts.com. Now, this is my article about productized services. It's a big article, lots of information about productized services. And within that, I've got a lead magnet, which is a content upgrade. So within that, I offer a mission guide. Download your 15-page mission guide, the step-by-step guide to productizing your services. People put their email in and they get their mission guide. The mission guide gives you a lot more information about how to implement productized services. So it takes it to the next step. People regularly put in their email, get added to my list, and they get their mission guide, which should be helpful. Now, this is a great way to do it because when you're writing a blog about something, you've already thought about it. In fact, the mission guide here was something that was kind of left over from the blog because I'd already written a big long blog. And that actually became the leftover bits, the bits that were, okay, I'm giving them too much here. This is all about implementing productized services. Why don't I make that into a content upgrade? The very simplest form of content upgrade would be where you've got a blog, something useful, and you just do a PDF version of that blog. People still seem to really like that and will download it regularly. Often for a longer form blog, this works really well because maybe they are reading the thing is very interesting, but they feel that they should get back to work or do something, so they get the information as a PDF and they've got it on their hard drive to go back to. These are all about getting people to your email list. Once you've got them to your email list, you can then send them lots of more interesting, useful stuff. And you also are able to sell them and say, here, I've got this product, would you like it? And to take them through that sales process. So we will do whatever we can to build the tribe, build the audience, get people onto that email list, and then put a lot of energy into encouraging them to trust us, to get really interested, to give them sort of aha, mind-opening points of view, ideas of how they can do things, whatever it is. So we want to get them there. These are all great lead magnets that take the idea much further than just here's a PDF, or I suppose even that is better than just sign up to our newsletter. These will get you higher rates of sign up and sign ups from people who are interested in your thing. That's why we want them to be quite specific. So we talked about content upgrades. You can also do free mini courses. These are not a full course, but something that is, say, 8 emails. You send them one per day, and these are things where you're trying to open their mind and give them those aha moments in an email only course. So that works really well, and it's not too difficult to put together. Quizzes work really well as lead magnets, and they also work on your website, but they also work on social media. Who can resist a quiz? So I once did a quiz years ago about what kind of business owner are you, and I had hundreds of people who signed up through that, and it took you through a sort of mini diagnostic of whether you were a freelancer, an ambitious business. There were 4 types of business. So you can think about quizzes and ways that you can do that. You can also just invite people, have a form that says we're running a workshop on the 23rd of November, do you want to come along? We're going to be learning about this, some sort of in-depth topic within your area, or even an introductory workshop. Give people a bit of a VIP treatment, or some sort of sense of urgency because the workshop's happening on a particular date. Those also work really well if you have traffic to your website, or if you want to put it on social media or run social media ads. Lists work surprisingly well. So if you have something that is maybe a list blog, and you might have, I don't know, if you were selling recipes, you might have, the 10 best uses for old onions in the back of the fridge, whatever it would be. I might do, I should probably do this, a list of the 10 best ideas for productized services. So they can be quite simple, couple of A4 pages, fantastic. And useful for people who are starting to think about whatever your subject is. How-to guides work really well. So you take one quite narrow area of your subject and you produce a how-to guide on it. So if I'd have known what I was doing in March 2020, when everybody was suddenly learning how to use Zoom, I would have straight away done a how-to guide on how to use Zoom, and I would have got lots of sign-ups because everyone wanted to know how to use it, and I'd been using it for years, so I could have written that really easily. And a checklist that you can use, a simple checklist. So maybe you've been thinking about a checklist product, but you've got a simple version and you want to just test it out before you do the full product. Another use for lead magnets, you can see, are people interested in this? And you can give people a checklist, what to put in your packing to go on holiday when you're going on a hill walking holiday, what you should put in, or things to think about that you've got in place before you make a massive meal for 40 people. Those are silly examples off the top of my head, but there will be some sort of checklist that allows people to get something useful from you, and they've downloaded it and you've got their email address and permission to send them something more useful. Lead magnets also invoke the reciprocity principle. So this is where if I do something for you, at some point in your brain, are hardwired to feel that you must do something for me. So if you've given somebody a lead magnet especially if it is genuinely good and useful, then there's a little bit of reciprocity coming back where they think, oh, I should read her emails or I should buy something. So it just gives a little bit of that spice to it. There's tons that you can do with lead magnets, and they are very powerful. Most people do not use the full power of lead magnets. So do dig into this. Go for the ones that are a little bit more work, such as a quiz. You can outsource that and pay a little bit of money for somebody to put a quiz together for you, rather than a generic, here's a list of X, Y and Z, or a copy of my article, and you will get more sign-ups. You can test one lead magnet against another. Which one works best? I do this regularly. And I've got software on my website that shows me which ones are working, which ones are getting the sign-ups, and which ones are a bit of a dud. Tons that you can do there, and you can build your list pretty quickly if you put some effort into lead magnets. The other top of the funnel product that I want to talk about is very similar to a lead magnet, and I call it a tripwire product. Now this is different because this is not a freebie. That's what I use to differentiate them. Lead magnets are always free. Tripwires have some sort of small fee involved in it. So it is a low value product. You want to price your tripwire product according to your target audience. What would they spend, which is not too expensive, it's risk-free for them. For some audiences that might be under a tenner. For some, which are more business orientated audiences, it could be 30, 40, 50 pounds. So it's still a low fee, but you could hope to sell quite a lot of them. Honestly though, you're not looking to make your money out of tripwires unless you really have a low budget audience. A tripwire fulfills pretty much the same function as a lead magnet. It is bringing people to you. You can quite often spin off part of something that you've made for a bigger product, or start a bigger product with a tripwire. And the whole idea of it is, again, to get people onto your audience list, to get them to become part of your tribe, to develop that relationship by sending them regular nurturing emails. The only difference is that you've got them to open their wallet. So they have actually taken out their business credit card and paid you some money. Now, this is important partly because when you're first starting off, getting a £25 payment through Stripe, it's nice, it's exciting, let's get it, that's great. And of course, if you get 10 of those, that's £250, and you can go out for dinner, have a very nice time, a few bottles of wine. But more than that, in your customer's mind, you want to encourage that feeling again at the back of their brain that says, this is somewhere where I buy things and they are good. So you are encouraging a buying habit. And once you've got somebody to open their wallet once, they will open it again for you. So it starts that buying habit. Lead magnets, tripwires, play with them. Make lots, see them as little experiments for products that you might make later. Go to your best performing blogs and make sure that those have got lead magnets or tripwires attached to them. Spend a bit of money on social media, put them out there, get people signing up, build your audience and encourage them to buy. Have fun with it. Want to learn more about the art of productizing your expertise? There are new videos here every week. Here are a couple of good ones to get you going.